Welcome back to Counseling Tips for Pastors and Ministry Leaders, the podcast that exists to equip you as a pastor or a ministry leader, to equip you with the counseling-related and relationship-related needs of your ministry, and to encourage you in the hard work that you are doing. And as we approach the holiday season, we are going to lean into the encouragement today. And some of the tips we will talk about will definitely help you with other people, as people around you are certainly stressed out, are certainly struggling during the holidays in a variety of ways. But my main goal in today's episode is to encourage you during the holidays. Because especially if you're a pastor, the holidays are so busy. It's really a highlight, of course, of the church calendar and of the church family life. And that can put a lot of pressure, a lot of time constraints, a lot of responsibilities on the shoulders of the pastor. And yet, the Lord does not want you to drown in all of the holiday rush, whether that's the gift shopping or the church work that needs to be done. And so my goal today is to offer 5 tips that will help you focus on what actually matters during the holidays. And yes, your job, your work matters. I'm not saying set it aside and just do what you want to do, but 5 tips to help you avoid the stress and zoom in and actually enjoy the holiday season. This podcast is hosted by iHope Christian Care and Counseling, a small nonprofit, distinctly Christian counseling center in Florence, South Carolina. And my name is Jess Hayes. I am a licensed counselor, and I offer supervision there at the iHope Center. And so I would encourage you, especially if you're in South Carolina and you might be looking for a counseling center virtually or in person, or looking for a ministry to support during the end of year holiday season. We are a 501c3 and a charitable organization in South Carolina. And so I would encourage you to learn more about us or get connected with us at ihopeflorence.com. Now let's dive into these 5 tips for avoiding stress and really enjoying the holidays. And the first tip is plan ahead. And you might be great at that. You might be awful at that. Sometimes, at least to some degree, that's kind of a personality thing. There certainly are skills that can go along with that. But the more that you plan ahead for important events, important things, the more likely it is they'll go smoothly, and the less likely it is that you'll be stressed out by them. And so if your church or your family does a lot during the holidays, start planning. Hopefully you've already started planning, because this podcast is going to air in mid-November is the plan. Because we planned ahead at least a little bit. But think ahead for what events are coming up. What do you need to do at work? What is on your church calendar? What other special events are happening in your town? What are your family plans? Thinking through not just the events and your schedule and your time commitments, but also considering your emotional investment. What are the things you really do want to make sure? I want to make Christmas cookies with my kids. I want to be the one giving 5 different sermons on Christmas Eve. And so planning ahead for what are you excited about? What are you passionate about? What do you want to share? Planning ahead is going to help you avoid at least some of the stress of the holidays, because not only will you have a better plan, but you'll also feel better knowing that there's a plan. And my second tip here is to let God be the one to set your priorities during the holidays. There can be a lot of traditions that come with the holiday season. There can be a lot of obligations, especially if you're working, again, at a church or at a ministry. If you're at a Christian ministry, like I am, iHope Christian Care and Counseling, we are a nonprofit. There's end of year fundraising and things like that to plan for. And so there's a lot that can feel like it's tradition. We have to do it. It's kind of an obligation or requirement. Other people are telling me to do it, or that's just what we have to do this time of year. But those things are not the full picture, the full experience of the holidays. And we all know that the Lord sometimes directs us down paths that make no sense to us in our earthly perspective. And yet, if it is His will and His plan, it is the right path to be on. So don't just go with the flow of everything you've always done before or the traditions, but continue to pray, continue to seek that time with the Lord, and let Him clarify and lead you in what your actual priorities are this holiday season. Yes, for work, but also especially for your family. What are the things your family needs this Thanksgiving, this Christmas, this holiday season? The third tip I would have here as you're preparing for the holidays is to keep your expectations realistic. We can get all up in our head about all the perfect things we want the holidays to do, all of the nostalgia and the childhood traditions, or we've always done it this way at church, and we can really put holiday things up on a pedestal, that these are the magic moments, these are the family memories, these are the church traditions that matter. And when we're putting things way up there, we're expecting things to go exactly like they have every year before, we're expecting things to be perfect, then we are going to be stressed because we don't live in a perfect world. You can plan ahead all day long and you cannot control, does your car break down? Is there a freak snowstorm? Is there a big argument at the holiday meal? You can't control everything, or really even very much at all. And so keeping your expectations realistic. Now, not to say you can't say, well, I'm really hoping that plan A happens, but I also have a plan B and maybe even a plan C. That might be part of planning ahead. That might be part of wisely stewarding your time and your energy. But expecting plan A and plan B and plan C and really setting those crazy expectations is a recipe for stress. So keep your expectations realistic. Number 4 here is to get one-on-one time with your important people. And I'm not so much talking about work here. There might be staff members or other people that you really do need to sit down with and plan with and have meetings with. There might be people you want to encourage, especially at the end of the year and the holiday season. But I'm particularly thinking about your personal relationships, your spouse, your kids, your parents, your friends. Are you getting so busy with the work and the ministry and the church stuff that you're missing meaningful opportunities to connect with your people? Not only is that an appropriate stewardship of the priorities God has given you, if He has given you a wife, a husband, children, they are your priority. The Bible's very clear on that. And so not only is it appropriately stewarding your time and your energy and your emotions, but also it's going to refuel you. You will feel better after that date night with your spouse, after playing catch with your kid, after baking Christmas cookies. It might be a holiday tradition like baking cookies. It might be a regular old connection thing like playing catch. But get that one-on-one time, get that quality time with the people who matter to you. Number 5 here is to talk about the good stuff this holiday season. To talk about, share about, what are you thankful for? What do you notice other people doing that you want to put a spotlight on and say, man, great job with that? Even if it's something they do all the time. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing to say, wow, you're really great at that, or I really appreciate that you did that. Make an effort, go out of your way to talk about positive, encouraging things. You can do that in your prayer time or journaling time with the Lord, but you definitely also want to do that out loud with the people that you serve with, live with, spend time with, even for yourself, noticing things that you're good at, things that you enjoyed, things that you did. We should be doing this all year round, but November especially, of course, here in the States, it's Thanksgiving. But this is a time of year to really lean into the good news of Jesus and the good that He continues to pour out in our lives every day. Now, I didn't put it on my top 5 list here, maybe because I just hope that it's surrounding and infusing all that we do, but I would also highlight, especially if you're starting to feel stressed at the holidays, just pray. And I don't mean just pray like that'll magically solve all my problems. I don't mean just pray like it's a thing I need to check off the list. I mean, just come before the Lord with wherever you're at today, the good, the bad, the confused, the emotional, the burned out, the stressed out, wherever you're at. Just bring it to the Lord. He knows about it already. He wants to meet you in that place. He is the source of the wisdom you need, the joy that you want, the peace that you're looking for. He is the reason for the season, as they say. He is the reason for gratitude. He is certainly the reason for Christmas. And so make sure that you continue praying and taking any of that stress, any of that struggle to the Lord. And friends, I hope that this is a wonderful holiday season for you and your family and your church. And again, I would encourage you to head over to ihopeflorence.com to learn more about the iHope Center and the services we offer in South Carolina, and to consider making a donation if you are in South Carolina, because again, we are a 501c3 and a charitable organization in good old South Carolina. So all of that is at ihopeflorence.com. But we will wrap up here, and we will be back soon. I always stumble over those words. We will be back soon with another episode of Counseling Tips for Pastors and Ministry Leaders.